This is the Board of Education meeting for which adequate notice under the Open Public Meetings Act was provided by written notice on January 5th, 2017 to the Courier News, the Echo Sentinel, the Star Ledger, Tappan to Warren, and the clerks of the Borough of Watchung and the townships of Greenbrook, Long Hill, and Warren. Roll call, Mr. Sines.
Ms. Barone, Mr. Collins, Mr. Mizio.
Here.
Mr. Fahey, Mrs. Spector,
Here.
Mr. Hunsinger.
Here.
Mr. Martins.
Here.
Mr. Batista.
Here.
Dr. Shabilsky and Mr. Morris.
Just made it.
Here. Please rise for the pledge.
He's on the phone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, be it hereby resolved that the board move into executive session to discuss confidential personnel matters, CSA merit goals and evaluation, and student matter, MB, after which action may be taken. It is expected that the matters discussed in executive session will be made public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Great. All right, we're going to come back into public session. Before we start with our agenda items, I'd like to ask everyone to observe a moment of silence for the tragedies that happened in Las Vegas yesterday, as well as all the damage sustained from the hurricanes over the past month. So just a moment of silence for those that have been impacted by those events over the past month. Thank you. We will move on. Any board correspondence?
No.
No board correspondence. Next, we will move into the presentations of the student recognition for the spring 2017 sports program. So I'll turn it over to our athletic director, Mr. Christopher Van Leef.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of our athletic department, I'm proud to be here tonight to honor our recipients for all conference, all area, and all state for the spring 2017 sports season. I will call our honorees up by sport. When your name is called, please come up to get your certificate and remain standing with your teammates until all names in your sport have been called. And now for the spring season individual honors. First for boys golf. All conference first team, Clement Shao. All conference second team, Brad Pinho. Boys lacrosse. All conference first team, Jonathan Taub. All conference first team, Mike Brady. All conference second team, Brendan Dreyer. And all-conference second team, Spencer Bokach. Girls lacrosse. All-conference second team, Katie Carroll. Softball. All-conference first team, all-area first team, and all-state Group 4 third team, Sophia Cicchetti. All-conference first team and all-area second team, Izzy DeFinis. All-conference second team and all-area honorable mention, Erin Bean. All Conference Second Team and All Area Honorable Mention, Jenna Cicchetti. All Conference Second Team, All Area Second Team, and All State Group 4 Second Team, Robin McCabe. And one more softball recipient, All Conference Honorable Mention and All Area Honorable Mention, Shelley Zoppi. Baseball, All Conference First Team, Jeff Poggi. And All Conference Second Team, Joe Blachsa. Congratulations. And last, we have Ultimate Frisbee, All-State First Team, James Kennelly. Congratulations again to all of our spring individual honor recipients. Thank you.
All right. All right, we're going to continue on. For those that were recognized, congratulations. You are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the fascinating meeting that we have ahead of us. But if you have other things that you need to do this evening, you're more than welcome to leave at this time. Good job, guys. All right, then moving on. I'd actually like to recognize our student representative. Do we have our student representative? Do we have an announcement from you guys tonight?
We do.
It should be on.
And Eris, what's your last name?
What's that?
What's your last name?
Gaffney?
And you're our new student rep?
I am, me along with Eris Ule.
Excellent.
All right. In recognition of Anti-Bullying Month, this October the Diversity Club will be holding a whiteout against bullying. Leading up to the whiteout, the Diversity Club will facilitate anti-bullying lessons in health classes, lead a community-wide art project based on the word upstander, and host a stand-up, speak up, stop hate banner signing for all community members. The week of events will culminate on Friday, October 6th with the homecoming whiteout. All members of the Watchung Hills community are invited to wear white along with the Watchung Hills varsity football team. Before the game, NJ State Senator Kane and Captain Pino of the Somerset County Sheriff's Department will address the crowd about anti-bullying. They will also lead the crowd in a pledge that will denounce hate and affirm that the Watchung Hills community is one of acceptance and tolerance. We hope that everyone can join us on Friday and are extremely proud to be a part of a community that recognizes the importance of being an upstander.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving on to our committee reports. Education.
The district is considering participating in what is known as the Seal of Biliteracy program, which started in California about, I think, in 2008, and a number of states have joined in and are participating in this program, and New Jersey now participates in this program. And each student will strive to achieve the seal of biliteracy, which by demonstrating that they are able to speak, read, listen, and write in 2 or more languages at a high level of proficiency. And it's something that the board can decide whether they want to pursue or not. The performance standards are on the state education website, so you can see what a student would need to show in order to obtain the seal. It may not be possible for the seal to be on a student's transcript, so it may not really directly help them in the college applications, but I believe that it is helpful to the district. It would appear in our student profile, and also I believe it would send a message to our sending districts that languages are important. And I don't know if this is something that the board needs to decide.
The board doesn't need to approve it. We're in the process of identifying how many students would be eligible, and we are trying to ultimately get the process to occur during the junior year so that it is something that
right.
could appear in their transcripts, or at least start the process at the beginning of their senior year so they can put on their application that they're in the process of applying for it.
I think there's also an issue of cost to bear with the
There's,
tests. So-
we've already started, last year we started giving world language assessments that we would be able to use for this, because by the time they take the AP test, it's generally after their senior year, so it's too late. So we've already, that's already implemented, so there would not be, there's no projected additional cost for it.
Okay, good. And we also discussed the professional learning communities. As you all know, the different departments have been working together and collaborating, but the teachers didn't really have control over who they would work with. But now the administration is making the teachers the agents of their own learning. Teachers will decide who they want to work with. So they're being encouraged to join in groups of 3 to 5 or 2 to 5 teachers, and only no more than 2 teachers can be from one department. And there will be a supervisor who will lead them in the questions they will pursue, and they will do research, and they can select from 5 areas, and 1 is project-based learning, 2 social-emotional learning, 3 mindfulness, 4 STEAM, and number 5 would be the increased rigor in CP level courses and unleveled courses. At the end of the year, the teachers would make a presentation just to show how what they've learned will aid in student achievement and student wellness. And it's up to the teachers how they would want to present that. They could do a presentation to the board. They could do something like a gallery walk. So I think it's just an exciting change, and I think the faculty is very excited about working together where they have more control right now. And the board has asked supervisors to make presentations at Board of Ed meetings. In one of our November meetings, we will be having a presentation to talk about student achievement, student proficiency. So all our supervisors will be here at that time. So we decided that beginning in the new year, when the new board is sworn in, that we would start having 2 supervisors and directors attend each board meeting. And the board can decide what they would want to hear. We could just have an overview of what's going on in the department, but we could talk about that, what specifically we would want the supervisors to present. October professional development days are coming up this week and next week, right? Next week. On October 9th, which is back to school morning, our staff will be here at this school, and they will be listening to presentations made by national speakers provided by an organization called ASCD. And one speech will be on project-based learning, 1 is on social-emotional learning, and the third one is on STEAM. And on the 10th is when the teachers will join with our K through 8 districts, and I believe that there are up to over 90 offerings for the teachers to choose from. Most programs will be here, and I think some are at the Warren Middle School. And Beth and Dina have worked very hard on this, and everything that they...
Beth and Mary Ellen.
I'm
Donna.
sorry, Beth and Mary Ellen. And Dina.
Donna. I think Donna is probably
Donna,
doing it.
okay. But their goal was to align the professional development with our strategic plan. So this is what they have done in all the programs being offered over the course of these 2 days, and they worked really hard to do this. I know Beth is very excited about this. And, all right, now I'm going to have Liz talk to you about our calendar discussion, 18-19 calendar discussion. She's going to talk about a back-to-school day and also the teachers coming back in August. Do you want to address that now while we're on this? Or?
It's up to you. I can do it now or probably during board discussion, because I'll want
All right,
some
then we'll
feedback.
pass on to then. And then let me just tell you about the program updates that we discussed. Child development program, there's a new teacher for the program, but the teacher's not new to this district. And it's going very well. They cleaned out the room, they updated it, and got rid of some of the old equipment that was some of the old dolls and that type of thing, and donated them. And one-to-one Chromebook program, the teachers have been experimenting, and the freshmen are embracing the program. There are some classes with mixed grades, and I believe we're going to try to provide extra Chromebooks for those classes. Instead of having them pulled off carts, we'll just provide extra Chromebooks for each department. Another issue of music program research, which I also want Liz to discuss, because there's always some misunderstanding, so I'd like Liz to make the presentation on the music program research.
We just kind of previewed it at the last meeting. They're finalizing their plans to go visit some other schools, and that's what they're working on right now. Mr. McCullen, Mrs. Diorio Bird, and Mr. Bertelli will be going to visit several other programs. So they're in the process of finalizing that, so once we have details, that will be shared. And actually, I'll ask Mr. Bertelli to talk about that during the November presentation in more detail.
Does anybody have any questions on anything?
Questions?
No, thank you.
I just have a question
Yes.
about, you were talking about the PLCs before, you were
Right.
saying that only 2 people from each department are allowed to be in each PLC group?
Well,
Is that what you were saying?
Go ahead, do you want?
right, yes, because
Okay.
the way it's been working is that maybe the administrator would select 2 departments to work together, so the teachers had
Okay.
no control over who they wanted to work with. And maybe they had ideas for a different department. Maybe the art department wanted to work with the science department, but they were with the history department. So now they could select who they want to work with. And again, I think the groups are 2 to 5 or 3 to 5?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. But only 2 teachers from each department can be in each group. This way, there's a
Okay.
diversity within
Okay.
each group.
So you can't have 5 science teachers.
Right.
You can have a maximum of 2
Well, me,
science
from my experience,
teachers.
that's what I would kind of like, you know?
You would like
5
what?
science teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the school I'm at, I'm the only chemistry teacher there.
Oh, I
You
see
know
what
I
you're
mean? So
saying.
it's like you
Yeah,
never get any, you know, I feel like especially for newer teachers, you know, the best kind of feedback you can get is more
Well,
experience.
is
But that's just my opinion.
we have a
is a
structure already for that.
Right.
Okay.
This is something different.
Okay,
isn't-
this is in addition
This
to
isn't
that.
professional
Okay.
development
Yeah.
per se, because they have that in each department.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be done, there'll still be department meetings, like
Professional development or professional?
professional development.
Okay.
It's professional learning
Learning.
communities, which is a
Professional
type
learning
of professional
Okay.
development.
Right.
All right.
But in this
So it does
case,
count towards their hours? Okay.
I don't know, certain meetings will be set aside for this particular project.
Okay. All right, cool.
The question I have regarding the presentation by supervisors.
Yes,
We have a presentation coming up in November
on student achievement,
on
correct.
student achievement and all of the park information.
And their departmental goals, each department presents.
And we're not gonna start in December, we're gonna start in January?
Well, I made the executive decision to do that because we're seeing everyone in November, and we'll have a new board sitting here in January. So I just thought it was better to just wait until then the board can decide well, we have one meeting in December, so it doesn't make any sense.
It's up to the board, yeah. I mean,
Well,
it's really
depends.
going to
If we-
be up
if they
to
won't
what
be
the
here
board
in
wants.
November, why start bringing them back in the new year?
If there's something in the presentation that everyone has a burning desire to learn more about in December before the holidays, I'm sure we can make that happen. But yeah, Lisa just thought in the interest of time and getting the new board seated, that we'd start in the new year.
Great. Any other questions for Ms. DeMizio? Great, thank you. Moving on to operations, I believe.
Yes,
Mr. Collins.
we met earlier this evening and discussed health benefits, which is on the agenda, which we discussed at our prior board meeting. Also, we are going out for an RFP for our architect in line with what we have continued to do on operations with sending out RFPs for our professionals. Tim and the committee agreed that we're also going to switch to a 403B administrator. 403B is somewhat similar to a 401K, but for the private sector. This is the nonprofit world 403B. And Tim's been the administrator, but with changing laws, it's really appropriate for a separate administrator that will not incur any costs for the board. Those costs will be passed along through the current provider. And the only other item was the lower field is coming along nicely, and we hope to be utilizing it in the spring.
Okay, so I just, so you're switching who over exactly? to
Just the
four?
administrator
Just
of the
administrator.
403B, right? So Tim's been handling this, but
Right.
the laws continue to be updated, and really, to have a proper fiduciary handle this, there's going to be a private administrative company that will
Okay.
oversee all of that.
Any questions for Mr. Collins? Okay, great. We do have one representative report. I attended the joint meeting last evening of the Somerset County and Hunterdon County School Boards Association, and they did a presentation there on one of my favorite topics, arts education. And there we had Commissioner Harrington came, and spoke very eloquently about the importance of the arts here in our states and her own very personal connection to the arts growing up, and actually she continues to be an active musician today. Also there was our county superintendent. He attended that meeting as well. And it was interesting to find out that he's a former music teacher, so he had lots of stories to share with us about the impact that he's seen on the arts programs in our school. So it was very well attended, a tremendous presentation by the Commissioner of Education. It was great to see her, come out to that particular meeting. So there's going to be another meeting, I think, coming up in December. So some of the joint meetings are going to be on specialized topics. So I would encourage all of our board members to take a look at those agendas and try to attend any that you can. And also we have workshop coming up at the end of October. So that's it for my representative report. That will bring us to the first public comment period. The first public comment period will be limited to agenda items for this meeting only. The second public comment period will be open to any topic. All comments are limited to 5 minutes. Any agenda item public comment at this point? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move on to board discussion items. Is there any of the agenda items anyone wants to discuss at this point? All right. Any items for future discussion that you want to put on the agenda? While you think about that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Liz so she can talk about the calendar.
Okay, so it's this time of year that we start, or we try and finalize a tentative calendar for the following school year. So a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. One of the items that we brought up really for the past several years is our back to school morning. We do not have great attendance for that morning. And if we do not have it and change that to a full professional development day, it really makes that day much more valuable, because right now it gets so chopped up because of that time in the morning. And it also prohibits us from utilizing that day to collaborate with our sending districts. They've been accommodating our schedule for the past couple of years since we've tried to do the 5-district professional development, where we restrict it to just the Tuesday professional development day because our Monday has that back to school morning. So in talking, I've talked to the association about it, and there doesn't seem to be a strong feeling one way or another in terms of the staff really wanting it. There's generally a couple of parents at attendance at those classes, and we initially added it when our enrollment had increased a lot. Now that it's dropped a little bit, we don't feel it's as necessary. So that's something I just wanted to mention to the board, because you obviously do approve the final calendar. So if anyone had any serious concerns or objections, but it would really facilitate our collaboration with the 5 sending districts.
I just want to say, I will defer to the superintendent on this, but it is something that I always took advantage of when I had 2 students in the school, that I would go at night and in the morning. So I'll just throw that out, but again, I will defer to the administration.
And Liz, my only concern has been the parking has been such a challenge at just having one.
Well, what we found, most people utilize it like Lisa does, where they're coming both. So it doesn't really help with the parking, because it's the same, the people coming on back to school morning are generally the same people that came on back to school night.
Oh.
And then the other issue with, at night, it always is a little bit crazy, but I do believe, isn't it in the back, kind of people forget because everyone comes to the front, so there's always, and so we maybe need to do a better job of directing traffic on back to school night to steer people to where there is parking. So that's something we could look at. But that's what, what was always brought up was the parking issue, but it really turns out that it's mostly the same people that come on back to school morning, so.
Oh, no.
And I know there's some people that love it, some people that don't utilize it, so it's one of those things where it's, okay, how can we get the best value of that, use of that time? So that's why we've been talking about it.
Any other questions on the calendar?
So there's 2 other calendar items
Oh,
I
okay.
did want to mention
Sorry.
with regard to back to school
Yeah.
morning.
Okay.
So 2 other changes that I'm talking to the sending districts. One of them is something we're just tentatively talking about for the future, but something that the Somerset County superintendents have actually been talking about is taking our 4-day President's Day weekend and making that a 3-day weekend and making Memorial Day a 4-day weekend, because that then helps us if we go over our allotment of snow days, because that's late enough in the year where we can take that day back, where President's Weekend is early in the winter, and we all know in February and March, we end up with snow days. So that's something we were talking about doing, just taking a day off one and putting it on the other. So that helps us out a little bit. And it's not, so no, we're not losing a day off, we're just shifting it to hopefully the nicer weather. But then it's a cushion if we end up needing to take a day back. We don't have to take it from spring break. We can take it from Memorial Weekend.
Well, let's remind us that we're locked into graduation because the graduation project, where parents of K through 8 may not realize
They can
that
adjust
this
the
is
end of
what
their year.
happens, and we can't change graduation.
Absolutely. So, and then the third piece is something that we just, in looking at the way that Labor Day falls, up until this year and previous years, we've been able to bring the teachers in before Labor Day because we have some, generally, we start around September 1st. That's just what schools usually do. So if September 1st falls in that week before Labor Day, we're able to get some days in, and then students come back that Tuesday right after Labor Day. This year, September 1st was the Friday before Labor Day. So we elected not to bring the teachers in on that Friday and waited till that Tuesday morning. But if we had started, on August 30th and 31st, we could have had the teachers in Wednesday and Thursday, and then brought the students back on Tuesday. And as we know, between AP testing, park testing, there's any additional instructional time we can get ahead of all of that is a benefit to the students. So it's just something that I started talking to the sending district superintendents about, where if we gave the staff enough notice where they knew that it would be, it's not like it's changing the structure. It would just be those couple of days before Labor Day, which we generally do, depending on the way it falls. So that's something we just started very tentatively talking about. But we'll have more discussions about that. So the contract does permit us to do that because we set the calendar, but it's something for future discussion. So most likely that wouldn't be for next year's calendar.
Any comments, questions? Okay. Seeing none, next up is the board goals follow-up. As you'll recall, in our retreat last month, we talked about establishing the 2 board goals, one around the creation of the expected school-wide learning results, and the second one was our holding a meeting with our sending districts at the board level to discuss ways of creating more collaboration between our districts in areas where we have some common goals. So under ESLRs, we're looking for volunteers to participate in that committee. So if you would send an email to Liz and copy me so that we know who's interested, we can get that committee established and begin working with the administrative team to get to work on the ESLRs. On the sending districts, I wanted to get feedback from this body before formally reaching out to the other districts to host a meeting as far as any particular guidance or instruction you have for me for those meetings. Ms. DiMizio.
I thought specifically it was for special education. You stated in a broad manner. Of course, it's great to collaborate on.
We talked about the fact that special ed was certainly one of the areas, but we wanted to look at the broader areas.
But is it too much to focus on? Should we keep it narrow, and maybe we'll get something done? Right. And we had specific ideas about special education. Again, the whole topic, it's important to collaborate in any way, but that's just...
Narrow the scope a little.
Right. That would be my
Make it easier for
suggestion,
people
but...
to get on board.
I do remember talking more broadly that we, talked about just starting dialogue and just seeing any area. Yeah.
Certainly, no,
Guess I
that's
just
an area
keyed in
that,
on special ed.
that's an area that we have an interest in, clearly, and I hear that loud and clear. But I think with any dialogue, we want to see if they have areas that they may be interested in that also make sense for us to explore. But, with that guidance, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to the other presidents and begin some discussions with them as soon as possible, so at least we get it started for this year, and then we'll be able to transition it as we transition to a new board. Okay? Any other questions on that? Seeing none, then we will move into, We have our future items, but we didn't have any questions or comments on our future agenda items. Is that correct? No questions or comments on future agenda items? Seeing none, then we will go to our action items, and we'll start with the A's.
I'd like to move items A1 through A8, comma, A11.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Mr. Stiles.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Demizio?
Yes.
Mr. Fahey?
Yes.
Mrs. Spector?
Yes,
Mr. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Mr. Master Batista?
Yes.
And Mr. Morrison?
Yes.
Okay, motion's
I'd like
carried.
to move items A9 and A10.
second.
Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Mr. Stiles.
Okay, Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Demizio?
Yes.
Mr. Fahey?
Yes.
Mrs. Spector?
Yes,
Mr. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Master Batista?
Yes.
And Mr. Morrison?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
I'd like to move items C1 through C6.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Mr. Stiles.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Demizio?
Yes.
Mr. Fahey?
Yes.
Mrs. Spector?
yes,
Mr. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Mr. Master Batista?
Yes.
And Mr. Morrison?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
I'd like to move items D1 through D10.
Second.
Any discussion?
I was going to say, before we vote, can I just read D10?
Yes, please.
Resolve, the Board of Education accepts with gratitude donations totaling $2,543 on behalf of the Irkham family and the individuals on the attached list for the benefit of the Special Services Department. And can I just say, I believe this family had a type of fundraiser, and the list of everyone who donated is attached to our information. And
The
very nice.
daughters, who are students here, did a 6-hour-long dance performance in our pack. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That was great.
And
So thank
instead of
you.
people providing gifts to them, they asked that, the donations be made to the district on their behalf. So, any other discussion on those items? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Stiles.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Demizio?
I'm abstaining on D2 and yes to everything else.
Mr. Fahey?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, yes to everything.
Mrs. Spector?
yes,
Mr. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Martins?
Yes.
Mr. Master Batista?
Yes.
And Mr. Morrison?
Abstain on D2, yes to everything else.
Okay, motion's carried.
This is the second opportunity for public comment in which you can comment on any particular item. As a reminder to the public, any comments that are made cannot identify any individual students during the public comment period. So please come up one at a time, state your name, or you can come up as a group if you want to have someone speak for you. But state your name and the township that you are from. And you can move the microphone down so we can hear you. There we go.
Hi, I am Jillian Mash-Batista, senior from Watchung Hills. As you all probably know, recently 8 of the senior varsity cheerleaders removed themselves from the team due to one girl that manipulated our coach and the administration. Being part of the cheerleading team has always been something to be proud of because at most schools, a cheerleading squad is the epitome of pride and spirit for the school. However, this year has brought nothing but sadness to not only the seniors but to the entire team, and quite frankly, I can say that now I feel more relieved not being a part of this program. Never in a million years would I see myself quitting a team, especially one that I'm so passionate about, but after weeks and weeks of not being heard by anyone, being lied to by our coach, and being accused of things we did not do, we had enough. One girl made up lies, taunted the team, and proved that she was not a leader. It is the responsibility of a coach and an administration to teach right from wrong, enforce rules, and create a memorable environment for the team. A coach should be someone that takes control of situations and puts a stop to any bad behavior. This was not the case on our team. Everyone supported and backed one girl and one family who has a long history of lying, being thrown out of programs, and treating people poorly. Watchung Hills should be ashamed of what has happened to this program, and I hope the Board of Ed will take action because, like the athletic director told our team, it's up to the Board of Ed to make these final decisions. I hope you will all take a closer look into the true facts and understand that the administration rewarded bullying. Senior night has always been a night of celebration for our families as well as the team. Not only do we walk on the field with our parents, the underclassmen make t-shirts and signs to honor us. This is something we have been waiting for and have been excited about for 4 years, and it has now been taken from us. Nobody cared about me or my team, nobody listened to me or my team, and nobody supported me or my team. We have now stood up for what is right, held our heads high, and have proven we are seniors strong.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie Netzberg. I'm standing here tonight with all the support behind me to finally have my voice heard. I strongly believe that we were let down by the coach, the AD, and the administration. Yes, the same people that one should typically look up to and support for guidance. However, not in this case. As captain and team player, I am shocked by the disrespect shown to the entire team. You silenced our concerns, and quite frankly, if you listened to us from the beginning, we wouldn't be standing here tonight. You allowed one girl to manipulate the entire administration. She twisted the truth and framed us to look like the bad guys. She spread rumors about us and said she will bring the entire team down, which she accomplished. And yet, she was still rewarded for her behavior, and as she was just granted captain again. As for the controversy and stunting, does anyone find it ironic that the day she left cheerleading for 2 weeks is the day the AD told us we can no longer stunt? And the same day that she was back as captain is the day you said it was safe to stunt. She must have some power on you. Enough about her. As a senior, I will no longer be able to leave my team in a positive way. I will not get to experience senior night walking proudly with my parents and my friends across the field. I was stripped of my rights as a senior. These girls are my family and my best friends, and leaving them was one of the hardest decisions I ever have made. I have been cheering with most of them my entire life and wish more than anything that I could finish the journey strong with them. Now, I am not asking to be back on this team. I just wanted to finally be acknowledged and hopefully understood. As seniors, we did not quit. We stood up in solidarity for what is right.
Thank you, Natalie. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Wilson. I would like to thank everyone who is finally willing to listen to the senior cheerleaders. I have been in this program all 4 years, and this year I was captain on the team. Heading into this year, I was so excited. Cheer was never taken seriously by the school, but us cheer girls are a family. As captain, it came with a lot of responsibility, which I expected. Although I felt at times the captains were put in tough situations where we had to make an administrative decision and tell the girls who we adored. This was very uncomfortable and not our role. As the season moved along, there were setbacks. However, what upset me the most is the lack of support and contact we received. I felt the school was against us, and when decisions were made, they were handled poorly. We should not have been in a situation where we decided anyone's fate. We thought we followed proper protocol, and that's what hurts the most. The varsity squad practices just like every other sports team at this school, yet we're not noticed and taken as a joke. Taking away stunting is like telling the band to perform without their instruments, or telling the football players to run a play without tackling anyone. Stunting is what we do best and what we practice the most on. We tried to be positive and keep the season going on, but we were continued to be let down. The senior girls are especially hurt that one girl and her actions ruined our senior year. The whole team suffered, which was not fair. I loved my prior years in this school, but now I can't wait to get out of here, which I find very sad to say. I never believed that quitting would be an option, but I felt I had no choice. I had a school against me, and the program was a disaster because of unclear judgments made by others. I always go by, it doesn't have to be easy, just possible. I hope the school will take action in providing a program where the administration will lead and the cheerleaders will cheer. Thank you for your time.
Name and town, please.
Hi, I'm Emily Arena. I'm from Greenbrook, and I'm a senior here at Watchung Hills. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to finally be heard. I'd like to start off by saying that I can honestly say that the reason this whole season fell apart, in my opinion, is because of our coach. It was her poor decision-making and leadership qualities that has led us to this point. She and the administration have proven themselves to be completely one-sided and unfair to all of the parents and cheerleaders who have spent hours of their time trying to fight for what is right. I, as do the other cheerleaders and parents, feel completely disrespected and ignored. It is astounding to me that the administration and our coach continually supported one girl after countless reports of her unsubstantiated accusations and unsportsmanlike behavior, not to mention violations to the code of conduct. I would like to know what example this sets for the underclassmen in terms of integrity and leadership. I would also like to point out my disappointment in the fact that our coach of 2 to 3 years did not reach out to any of us after she lost every senior girl. As seniors, we have made all of her coaching decisions for her, and we have kept this program alive throughout the past month and a half. So it is baffling to me that she is moving on as if we did not play such a big role on this team. Based on the decisions made by my coach and administration, I have felt pushed to quit something that I was very passionate about. Why would I stay on a team where my voice is not heard and everything continues to be one-sided? Thank you.
Other comments?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Schultz. I'm from Greenbrook. I am one of very strong 8 girls that decided to leave a sport they love due to the actions of one girl and the decisions of others. I have been in this program for 4 years now, and every year I continue to get closer and closer to the team, but never like this. There was a lot of drama and a lot of things that I thought were going to tear our team apart, but we came back even stronger each time. Outside of cheer, I'm not the happiest girl, but this team and the bond I have created with all of them has helped me to create a happy place, somewhere where I can forget about all the bad stuff for a while. Unfortunately, that place I once had is gone now. There has been many emotions going through me lately, but mostly frustration and sadness. Yesterday I was having regrets on quitting, but I felt as if I had let one girl get exactly what she wanted, but right now I feel relieved and that upsets me. As a timid freshman girl who always looked up to the varsity team, I was so excited to walk across the field for senior night and have a day all about me, but this was taken away from me as well. I have always struggled to enjoy my time at Watchung Hills inside and outside of cheer. I begged my parents to let me transfer many times, but they would never budge. The way my coach and the administration took control or did not take control of the situation makes me wish more and more that I could just graduate already. This school never understood how much cheering meant to us until they ripped out the hearts of every single girl in that room when they told us that we were not allowed to stunt anymore. As a team, we were lied to many times, never appreciated, and most of all, silenced. I hope that you guys really think about what has happened this season and never shut down the voice of a passionate group of girls again.
Hello, I'm Juliana Giordano. I'm from Warren. After one girl's intolerable behavior during her 2-week suspension held during preseason, a survey was made by our coach to ask the team if we thought she was still a good fit for captain. About 28 of 32 girls chose no, that she was no longer a good fit. But yet she recently regained her leadership position back. After the survey, many meetings with the seniors, the athletic director, and our coach were held, and our voices were far from heard. This is not about a title. This is now about the mistreatment and the inconsideration for the seniors who have done nothing but fight for the fairness of the team, as well as the 28 other girls who disagreed with her gaining her leadership position back. Administration, the athletic director, and our coach have shown us that breaking the code of conduct several times and being a poor team member is acceptable and captain-worthy. I hope that standing here telling everyone how we feel will finally be taken into consideration for the unity of the program and for upcoming seasons. I hope that several poor sportsmanship actions will no longer be accepted and admired. However, due to the people that have replaced her in an honorable position, even after her inappropriate actions, I, as well as 7 other seniors, have chosen to quit this amazing team and separate from our amazing teammates that we considered family, leaving this one girl as the only senior remaining.
Any other public comments? Name and community, please.
Josephine Wilson, Greenbrook. I am
I'm
here.
sorry, again, please?
I'm sorry, Josephine Wilson, Greenbrook.
Thank you.
I am here on behalf of my daughter and the other girls. First of all, I would like to thank the younger girls for your support. It shows what a real team is. My only comment is I plead the board. Our girls are done with cheer. My daughter had 3.5 amazing years. I ask the board to speak with the administration on the way things were handled. From the beginning, our girls wanted to go right to the top, and we pleaded them not to. We begged them, talk to the coach first, talk to the AD. Then as parents, we talked to the coach, we talked to the AD. I know the girls are angry with the coach. I feel the coach's hands were tied. I honestly feel that something happened in between and that these girls took the brunt of what happened. I beg you as a board, as a citizen, as a member who had a graduating senior from here who is now in the University of Alabama doing phenomenal, as a senior who is about to graduate who absolutely loved Watchung Hills, I beg you to ask the questions, what happened? These girls never overstepped their boundaries. As parents, we held back so many times. We talked to ourselves, we talked to our daughters, but we didn't overstep the boundaries. We followed the protocol, and that's what hurts the most. Because in the end, we as parents will not walk our daughters in senior night, and it hurts. So regardless of what happens here, I ask all of you who we vote in to just talk to the administration and ask them what happened. Because I was at a few meetings, and I left the meetings feeling good. I will tell you, I felt like a fool when I texted mom saying, don't worry, I think it's going to be handled. And it was handled all right. It was handled with our daughters being mistreated. So I ask of you, if nothing else, please, for the future of these girls, ask what happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments?
Hi, my name is Gina Falvo-Kylars. I'm from Long Hill Township. My daughter Natalie Kylars is one of the captains on the cheer team. She was not able to be here tonight because she is an all-star cheerleader with Star Athletics, and they have practice tonight. This football cheer season can be looked at as a Shakespearean theater, having all parts to make it almost comical. The manipulation, lies, and lack of leadership had this season going down in history books for Watchung Hills Regional High School. In other words, this season was doomed before it began. With every turn, complaints and confusion arose. Senior girls giving things up that they believed they earned. One captain being told she wasn't actually chosen by the coach to be captain, instead voted in unanimously by the whole varsity team. Yes, 33 girls voted her as captain, with the coach saying directly to her, well, I guess you have to be captain. All the girls voted you in. She earned that spot. For me, the issue came when stunting was taken away. The girls were told this was a safety issue and a quote-unquote complete investigation was done. I question that. Did the administration ask the entire team about their feeling of safety? No, they did not. Did the administration ask for clarification of those girls who commented that they would not drop anyone, yet they did not speak for anyone else? No, they did not. Only the senior girls on that team were spoken to, not the whole team. The parents paid $150 per athlete to be trained on proper stunting techniques. Did the administration speak to World Cup, the cheer organization that taught stunting to the girls during stunt camp? No, they did not. Finally, with false rumors being spread by her saying the girls bullied her, was any proof brought forward? Were those accused spoken to about what they allegedly did? No, they were not. False rumor spreading is an intimidation tactic, a HIP violation. The football coach that day when stunting was removed believed that false rumor until he heard the truth. Who else is believing those rumors without asking questions? Are those sitting on this panel here tonight and in the audience believing them? I would like to be able to say no. However, I cannot. With these basic questions not having answers, how can anyone say a quote-unquote complete investigation was done? Further, I ask, does the administration look at cheer as a sport or just something girls do? I ask this question because when stunting was removed, I spoke to Mr. O'Connell regarding the no stunting decision, and he stated, our concern is, what if these girls have an argument Friday afternoon and they are still upset Friday evening? They are likely to drop her from a stunt. The discrimination and minimization of all female athletes in this one statement also has me very conflicted. I confronted his comment directly, asking him to take his argument out of the sport of cheer and place it into football. A quarterback and wide receiver have an argument at school on Friday afternoon. Will that quarterback throw the ball to the wide receiver if he can score a touchdown? His response was, of course. So I fire back. Is it because these are girls that you think they would purposely throw their sport? They would purposely taint the sport that they love, not to perform their best to wow or impress the crowd? He shrugged his shoulders, not knowing what to say. I call that a direct Title IX violation, not by treating a female sport as any other male sport. The parents wrote emails and looked for answers. None were received until the athletes received word that yes, stunting would come back, and so would her title. The title is not in question for me. What is in question is how can someone violate basic rules that go directly against the code and still cheer? How can someone miss 2 weeks' worth of practices and still cheer at a game? How can someone miss a pasta party and still cheer at a game? And more importantly, how can someone not cheer at a game, sit in the student section, and attempt to get the students to turn their backs on the team, her team, because she was still on that team? How is that not considered taunting and intimidation? When did the administration begin to condone these actions? The administration chose to turn a blind eye to the events, the violation of HIB, the Title IX, and their own code of conduct each athlete signed. The senior girls chose not to turn a blind eye. They took a stand for what they believe in. I applaud them for their courage. The high school historically stood for what is right. They taught that behavior has consequences, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Being a proud alum of this school, I am confused as to the events that took place this season. You see, it was back in 1984 that I was a freshman on the JV track and field team. It was the beginning of the season, and we were at a meet. It was my turn up, and if the JV team were to win, I knew I had to throw that 8-pound metal ball as hard and as far as I could. There was one senior on the varsity team making fun of me, taunting me, saying things like, oh, look, she's cute. She thinks she can actually do it. What she didn't know was that comments like that fueled me. I used the anger and threw that shot put 32 feet. We won that event because of that throw. My excitement was short-lived. That same senior moved down to the JV team because she wasn't performing her best, and I was. I moved up based on my own abilities. She was angry, and I received the brunt of her anger. Her and her friends taunted, bullied, and attempted to intimidate me. It was Keith Sims who took me under his wing and told me not to worry. He would help me. Weeks of tears, the bullying didn't stop, no matter what I did. Keith reminded me to always do my best and things would work out. I wanted to believe him, so I pushed forward. Finally, the intimidation stopped, and I thought that's where it all ended. I thought Keith was the one who really protected me. I found out over the summer that it was someone else who stepped in to stop the bullying and harassment. It was Mr. George Alexis who stepped in and stopped the girls from bullying me and attempting to intimidate me any longer. Being a senior in my freshman year, he somehow got her to stop. So all these years later, I say thank you to him for that. And I ask, when did things change? Thank you for taking time to listen.
Other comments? Seeing none, we will move to, I'm sorry, let's comment.
Thank you all for coming to share your comments. One of the things that I just want to clarify, making accusations of Title IX violations and HIB violations are very serious. So if you do genuinely have concerns about that, please put them in writing to our coordinator of our HIB investigations, who is Mrs. Angelostra, our Director of Guidance. And if you have Title IX issues, please put those in writing to Mr. Van Vliet or another administrator. We take all of those very seriously. Any HIB allegations that are brought to our attention, we fully investigate. We never dismiss those. So if you do have any issues and concerns, please follow up in writing.
This is not a place for questions and answers. based on public policy, we don't take questions from the audience. However, if you would like to make a statement, you are welcome to come up and make a public comment.
My name is Mark Nitzberg. I'm from Warren. I'm Natalie Nitzberg's father. Natalie is a captain of the cheerleaders. So, I come home every night and listen to the drama for the last 3 weeks, which is, I'm not here to list the facts of this is what's happened, but I can tell you that the experience has been a very, very emotional experience for the senior girls, and I think for the underclassmen on this team too. I think that everybody feels a strong sense of unjustness and being let down by the administration. So my concern here at this point is what's done is what's done. But after weeks and weeks of letters and emails, and everybody knows what's going on and knows what's the concern is here. What's going to happen to the senior girls? What's going to happen? Are you going to allow them to walk? They stood up for what they felt was their right, their dignity. The only thing that they had left to do was to walk. So I really would like the administration to stand up and say, I've heard all the details, and this is what we've decided to do. Because as a father here, I plan on walking on senior night. My daughter was a cheerleader since she's 3 or 4 years old. I wanted her to be captain. I wanted to walk out there on senior night. Now all that has been taken away from her, and it's been taken away from us as parents. What is going to be done about it? Thank you.
Thank you. The one thing that I just want to make a general comment. I don't pretend to have all of the information or all of the facts, and I don't expect any of my fellow board members to have all of the information or all of the facts. That's not our role. Our role is to make sure that the school is well run. It is up to the administration. It's their job and their responsibility to run the school. So to the degree that the information has been presented to us, and certainly all of us have been on the receiving ends of letters and have deferred to the administration, as is our responsibility for them to oversee the process. That said, I think the overriding question that I have and concern is, how do we get, in my opinion, I would love to see the girls back on the field. How do we get the girls back on the field together? And in a way, this is not a question and answer, I'm making a statement. And I think if there is any way that the grown-ups and the girls can figure out a way to work together so that they can be on the field, that would be the ultimate solution for everybody. But I don't think anyone can dictate what the terms are and how we get there and create situations where there are ultimatums and other things that are put in place. I mean, come on. We're all grown-ups here as adults and parents. The girls love to cheer. We want to see them on the field. Can't we just figure out how to get there, please? And that's all I can do as a member of this board, is to plead with you all to figure this out. We will do what our job is as responsible board members and doing what we can, but I think there is other things that can be done to try to resolve this situation. Clearly, it's gotten to this particular point. What's done is done, and it's happened. Is there a way that we go from here where the girls can be back on the field together? Because that's, in talking to other board members, that's what we want to see happen. We're not going to get into the minutia of this. We don't know. We're not going to get into tit for tat. But please find a way to figure it out and work together. Sorry, I can't take any.
I'm Kelly Hayward. I'm from Greenbrook, New Jersey. My daughter is Kylie. She's a senior. How about someone respond to our emails? How about somebody answer our texts, our phone calls? How about the coach talk to us?
How about the administration talks to us? We've heard nothing. I don't know about any moms who have gotten a response at all. They've left us empty. There's no answers, no replies, no responses. I pleaded with the coach in an email the other day and I got nothing. My child has never, in a day in her life, been in trouble. Never. She's off the team and that girl is on the team. I have a list of stuff about that girl I could present to you. A list that's guaranteed true. And she's on the team as a captain and my daughter's sitting here. I want that explained to me. And I want this explained to me. Look at all their faces. Are you kidding me? All of these girls walked off because of one family, one child. This has been going on for years. That right there is all you need to know. Who's right and who's wrong? They're right. And regardless of how they conducted themselves, I know it got a little hairy sometimes to some of the girls. I understand that. They're 17. They've had a long history with this girl. It came to a head. It needs to stop. She's the girl who needs to be off the team. And if they have to work together and cheer with her, well, then you know what? Maybe they have to. But the coach needs to speak to us. The administration, that Van whoever, needs to speak to us. You can't avoid us. Look at us. We're all here because we want to be heard. Somebody needs to reply back. Thank you.
So Liz,
Wait, once we close public comment, I'll be happy to respond, but we're not going to continue the back and forth.
All right, we are now closed with public comment.
Mr. Van Vliet has responded to every single inquiry, has spoken to parents several times. So if you, I know that some vice principals have spoken to some parents. Mr. Van Vliet has spoken to some parents. So look, I'm not going to argue, but I know many of you sent multiple emails and phone calls, and he has spoken to people multiple times, so it is absolutely not fair or accurate to say that you have not gotten a response. When you send an email to 10 or more people, you're not going to hear back from every single person that you've sent it to. One person will get back to you, so if you have additional questions, I encourage you to follow up tomorrow, either with the high school administration or with Mr. Van Vliet. So, and I assure you that somebody will get back to you, and if they don't, then you can follow up with me.
But
just for further clarification, I think
We can't do questions,
you can follow up with me after the meeting, once the meeting's done, okay?
and we're almost there.
can you, Liz, have somebody in your administration reach back out to either the cheerleading coordinator or the coach and find a resolution to this problem? Is that possible?
I think Mr. Morrison, put it very nicely, that, we certainly want a resolution, but there can't be ultimatums and conditions that are, dependent on and trying to exert control over somebody else.
Understood, but I think everybody's an adult. It's about the girls. Get the girls back on the field with an amicable solution so no one's slighted for whatever reason.
And with all due respect, Bruce, that's what they were working towards last week. So I'm not saying that this is certainly not done.
Please, let it go.
So Bruce, I hear what you're saying, and that's certainly our goal. So we will continue working towards that. So I will, everything that has been said here tonight, Mr. Van Vliet was here to hear all of this, so we will be, regrouping and discussing tomorrow. But I can't control the actions of everyone, so we will certainly do our best.
Bob, but can I just respond to?
Just before we go, we're trying to have a discussion here. We're certainly interested in hearing what other board members have to say. I'm just asking you that you please honor the decorum, behave appropriately so we can hear from the other board members. At the close of the meeting, if you want to have individual discussions with individual board members, you are more than welcome to do that. But I just ask you to please allow the board members to have their discussion. Thank you. Mr. Mastrobatista.
Bob, I just want to go back to something you said a minute ago. This genie goes back into the bottle with ease. Okay? It's all about misinformation. Fact-finding has been done poorly. This has been a botched job based on the information I have. Very upset. I have to be careful what I say because I'm a board member. The genie goes back into the bottle with ease, but ego is driving the day. And an administration who never wants to be wrong is driving the day, okay? as a sidebar, I think it needs to be investigated that the athletic director is telling people that the board is making this decision, and the board doesn't make this decision. The board has no power over these decisions. But tonight is not about cheerleading, it's about character. And tonight we heard character.
Is there any other comment?
I'm not done.
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot of character in this room, and they should be proud of themselves. And we should be ashamed of ourselves. I am embarrassed to be part of this school. 10 years I've been part of this school. I'm embarrassed, and I joined the girls tonight, and I tender my resignation as a board member.
Is there any other comment? Good, we'll move on to new business. Do we have any new business? Any other business, I should say. All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Great. We are adjourned.